This serialization is not part of OCP 6 curriculum, but there are good chances that this might be included in 7, 8 or 9 exam. Obviously they've not done it yet, but they might as well add this exam in the future, add this topic in the future exams. So always nice to have a look at it. Now what serialization is, before I take you to NetBeans, let us first look at a basic scenario of what exactly we're going to do in implementation, and then we'll do the implementation part. Let's assume that you have a product, and of course this is a product class which has three instance variables, let's say ID, brand and price. These are just arbitrary values that I've given to these instance variables. Now, what I want you to do is a very basic scenario. I want you to pass this information to the file, and from this file, now once you pass the information, assuming that all these three instance variables belong to the file or are saved in this file, and from this file I'll be creating another class, let's say app class, and I'll read the data from this file to the app class. So we're going to use this file as an intermediary medium of transferring the data from one class to the other class. The main advantage of these type of situations is, if suppose for example you're working on a different system and I'm working somewhere else, so this file can be a intermediary medium for us to communicate. Of course, the concept as we draw the arrow looks easier while we speak this way, but then it's going to be difficult to implement. But there's another way of doing things more precisely or more professionally. Rather than you passing me all this information and then I'll have to read all those information, let's create an object here. Let's create a product P1 object, and now p1.id equals to 10, p1.brand equals to Samsung. So I want you to assign all these three values to these instance variables of P1. We know that from our garbage collection and memory management knowledge, we know that P1 is this object of a class is nothing but a memory location. So what I'm trying to tell you is, rather than passing the values, just give me the memory location, and you save the value of memory location in the file, and I'll read the value here from the app class. That means this way of saving all these information should not happen. Now to do so, to save this memory location or to save this instance of a class in the file, you need your class, which is a product class, to implement serializable interface. Unless you do so, JVM will not save the memory location in the file, and I'll not be able to fetch it from the app class. So what is serializability, or what is serialization? Serialization means saving the instance of a class into a external medium such as file, and then fetching the data from some other class. To do so, we need to implement serializable interface, and this whole thing is called as serialization. I'll take you to NetBeans. We'll do the implementation, and hopefully we will get all the results in place, and once we have it, then we should be able to understand serialization in much more clear manner. So let's go to NetBeans now. Let me take you to NetBeans here. Right, so I'm going to start creating a new project here. Let's say I'll say SER serialization project, and I'll click finish. Here I'll very quickly create a Java package, let's say com.ser, and inside this I'm going to create two classes, Java class. Let's say first is our product class, this way, and second I'm going to create an app class. Using this class, I'll be saving the data into the file. Of course, implementation scenario is going to be different than what we've seen, because obviously we're not going to write main class in the product. So this way, I'll save this and I'll get rid of the comments from here as well. Right, in product we have three instance variables. Let's say int id, and I'll say string name, and let's say double price, this way. All these three have to be marked as private as per the laws of encapsulation, which I'll do so. And I need to check my spells. Yeah, this is private, this is private, and this is also private. Once I have this as private, give me getters and setters. Source, insert code, getter. I need the getter for all three of them, and source. Let's go to insert code, and setter. I need the setter for all three of them. So I've got getters and setters. I'll save this. So product class is ready for us. Let's go to app class. From this class now, we'll create a file. We'll first create the object of the product, assign 10, Samsung, and all those values to these instance variables. And then from this class, we'll save the data to the file, and we'll create another class. And from that class, we'll fetch the data. If you don't want to create another class, you can obviously create a main method here inside the product class itself and execute this. And from this app, you can read that file. Let me try and create a main method from product. It's not a good practice, but then still, just to demonstrate what exactly serializability is. So I'm going to create a main method here. From this, I'm going to create a product object first. Product, let's say p1 equals to new product. Sorry, this way. And I'll assign the values of instance variables to this p1. p1 dot name equals to, let's say, ABC, something like this, and p1 dot price equals to, let's say, 15k, this way here. Now I want to pass this p1 to a file. Before that, I need to use file classes. The class which is used to save this object to the file is called as object output stream. So first, this is object. Because I'm going to write it to the file, I'll use output class, and these are stream classes. So object output stream, let's create an object OS, anything that you like, equals to new object output stream here. So I'm going to copy this because I'm sure I'm going to make a spelling mistake if I type this again. Now all these classes belong to IO package, so we need to do the import here. So I'll do add import, and because we're going to use many other classes, I'll just do a star here, so I don't have to do import again and again, this way. Now of course this object in output stream wants file output stream object, so I'm going to say new file output stream here, this way, and inside this either you pass a file handler or name of the file. We've done this before. If in case you haven't done file before, you've not done the programming for files, there's no point in following this video, because I would expect that we are very good at files, and I'm sure I've given you case studies as well, or the program in the class where we've used these file classes. Now what this says here, it says it might throw an exception, which is obviously either need to be handled or caught. I mean, obviously we're going to give a warning. So add throws clause here, so add throws IO exception here, so this way. So what this is going to do, it's going to create a file abc.txt, and in the next line, oos dot write object, using this write object method, I'm going to save p1 in this file. So once I execute this statement is going to create abc.txt for me, and this statement is going to save the value of this p1 in this file. And you have to understand that all these values 10 ABC and 15,000 also go along with p1. I'm actually sending a memory location. Of course, very important is to close the stream, os.close, otherwise it's going to keep saving this in the buffer and we won't see anything in the other class. Now if I execute this program, shift F6, obviously I'm not going to get anything. Okay, what it says, not serializable exception, yes. Now what we said, to do this, to save the object to a file, to save that instance of a class or reference of a class to the file, we need this class, product class, to implement serializable interface. I'll again show you the output here. You see what it says? It says non-serializable exceptions, means your class, which is the product class, does not implement serializable interface. This exception can go if we choose to implement serializable. Don't worry if you're thinking that if a class implements an interface, it has to override all the abstract methods. What you're thinking is correct, but the good news is serializable does not have any abstract method, does not have anything at all. This is called as a marker interface. I'll just also write here marker interface. The reason is this is just to indicate to JVM that we are trying to save the object, so you please don't save p1, save the memory location of p1. So now if I execute this, shift F6, and you can see that exception has gone away, and of course there's no output because we have not written any SOP or anything. You can always write something like this, data transferred to file, something like this. If I execute this now, it says data transferred to file. So now, assuming that this abc.txt has an object entry, if you want, you can go to my documents, netbeans projects. I have the folder open over here. So this is SCR project and this is ABC file. Now if I was to open this file, you can see this is what has been stored by JVM. Of course we don't know what this is, but this is how the entire thing goes. We don't have to look at this here. Let's go to our app class. From here we'll read that p1 data, and that p1 data will give us these three values here. So we're going to read this here, psvm. Okay, I've actually set the values directly. I should have used the getter setter method, but then because I'm doing in the same class, I could do this. Right, app here. Let's say we first read the data. To read that, we need object input stream. Now I'm taking the input from the file, so I'll use input stream. Here I was writing the data, so I used object output stream. So here I'll just copy this statement, entire thing, copy and paste it here. I'll do the changes here. Object input stream instead of output, and here as well object input stream. Here as well file input stream, not output. We're taking the input, so file input stream. ABC is the name, that's fine, and all we have to do is do the import file .io.stars. Everything gets imported, and of course this might throw an exception again if I'm not mistaken. Object, no sorry, I think I should be capital, it's a class, yeah, input stream, and all I have to do is report the exception, give a warning, IO exception, this way. Now the connection has been made, so I can call this as I here, object input stream. So OIS dot read object. Okay, this my system is behaving very slowly. Read object, where's read object? Yeah, here, read object, this way. Now this is going to return me product object, so I'm going to save this product p equals to. Of course this says, if you keep it over here, it says found java.lang.product, and you are saving it into a product class. That means it says, although I return you an instance of product, this product behaves like an object, so you have to downcast it to product. You have to downcast it to product. We've done this in generics and collections many times, so we have to downcast it to product here. And it says there could be a situation where this might throw an exception, which is class not found exception. Don't have to do try and catch, you just warn here. We've discussed this in exception handling. When do you do try catch? When you are generating the logic. This is not something that you are doing. You're not doing the downcasting. This is up to JVM. So if it's up to JVM, we don't do try and catch and we don't handle things. We just give a warning, because 99% of the time this will happen properly. And once we read this object, I would assume that P1 is saved in P, and because P1 is in P, I can always do SOP P dot SOP P dot get ID here, and I can also check SOP P dot get name here, and plus again here P dot get price. And what I want these values that you had saved in the file, 10 ABC and 15,000, and I'll just close the stream here. So P dot close, sorry, OIS dot close, I don't know what I'm doing, OIS dot close here, close the stream. Now if I execute this, I need the output as, it will obviously go to the file, fetch the data, and P dot get ID should be 10, this should be ABC, and this should come up as 15,000. So if I execute this, I do get the data 10 ABC and 15,000. So this is the file here. This is the file which is an intermediary scene. So we've implemented this scenario here where I pass the data to the file with these values associated with P1, and I read it from the app class. So this is your serializable interface. You can obviously follow the video, rewind it back and do it again and try and implement it. It's not a difficult scenario whatsoever. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much.